What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, weirdos? It's your boy Rain Dog, Rain Drizzle, and my co-host, co-captain, Cole Conspirator, Uncle Juju.
What is up, babies?
How's everybody doing? Welcome back to BXTV, aka Back from Hell, your Spotify and YouTube podcast where you didn't know everything you needed to know with your boys, you know what I'm saying? So welcome back, welcome back. I'm very excited to talk about everything, you know what I'm saying? We got a comic book of the week, and then we're going to basically jump into a little bit talking about a Black Label DC book, so that'll be fun. It's Boy Wonder. It's the first 4 issues, so the 5th one's not out yet, but I feel like it's worth talking about. I think more people should be reading it. I almost passed up on it, and I would have regretted that. So with that being said, though, comic book of the week. If you don't know what that is, me and Juju every week review a comic book that came out this past Wednesday, and we put on a chopping block of 1 to 10 for the story and the art, and we let you know if it's worth pulling. You know what I'm saying? We're not really too worried about the covers. We're more worried about the inside. But this week we got Ain't No Grave number 4, written by Scotty Young, and the art is by, is it George or Jorge Corona? Jorge Corona, and colorist is Gene Francis Belay, and letterer Nate Picos. It's a $3.99 cover price, which 32 pages. Usually I'm very excited for this book. I know a lot of people reviewed it and they have their opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm probably not gonna have the most popular opinion on this issue. And I'm not trying to turn your opinion or anybody else's opinion. But so yeah, it's basically a silent issue though. There's only 2 words in the whole issue, and fucking it's a beautiful book. Like every panel was gorgeous, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I get what they were doing. So spoiler alert, the only 2 words, if I'm correct, are from Death, and he says, "Hello, Ryder." He says her name,
Yes.
and that's the end of the issue. Everything up until that was great, but it was just like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this whole book, I love Scotty. I love Scotty Young, but I low-key feel like this whole book has lacked a little bit of dialogue. Like,
Yes.
I feel like it's been heavily relying on the images to tell the story, which is comic books, but it's like it just feels like there's so much of just like you having to assume this is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like this issue, like I don't know, man. I was like, I legit, because I didn't look it up. You know what I mean? I don't look up like what's gonna be happening in the next issue. I just read the next issue. I legit thought I had like a print error book or something until I got to the end, and I was like, oh no, this is just what it is. Yeah. So that was my first opinion. What about you?
My first opinion was I had read the 3rd one before this one, so I could be caught up and actually have context of what is going on. And the first one had a fair bit of dialogue in it where you kind of understand, like, she's got to gamble to get this card.
Yeah. We're past all that. Yeah.
We're past all that. Once it became like she gets to the house and she's drinking, and then it suddenly just kind of like it became. I get that the whole thing is depression, and she's supposed to be experiencing like this emotional release before her meeting with death. But it was also kind of confusing as to like, what are you trying to get at with this? Like, I understand the symbolism, sure, but like a little bit of context would have been great.
No, I agree.
You can be silent, but with words, you know? Like,
Yeah. I feel like it was a big risk, and from what I see online, at least on League of Comics, there's people like saying they were like crying reading it, and I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
no.
I was like, there's no fucking way, bro. Like, there's no fucking way.
You are a bot.
Yeah, like you're just a glazing son of a bitch who, like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It was a beautiful book, but like, there's
Yeah.
just so much that's like left open to the point where I think it was like, my buddy said it best. Scotty Young's too busy right now. That's what happened. And I don't actually believe that's what happened, but that's what it fucking feels like, man. It kind of just feels like you were like, fuck it. Like,
I'm not writing this week.
yeah, man. Like, you wrote 2 fucking words, bro. Like, you could have wrote words that weren't them talking, you know? Like,
you could have had like this internal dialogue, like not even dialogue, but like monologue. She could be going on a whole monologue that entire time.
it
about,
it didn't even have to be a monologue.
emotions
Not
yeah.
not even. It could have been just somebody narrating. It could have been like Death, like watching her as the narrator. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would have even been better in my opinion. I feel like if you would have had Death, like, narrating it, because he's basically like keeping an eye on her,
Yeah.
and then at the end he's like, hello, Ryder. That's a great fucking lead up, and he can just explain what emotions and shit she's going through and why. And like, I don't know, man, because like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be fucking honest. I have been way too easy on this fucking book. I have, for not the whole thing, but for an issue or two, I have felt lack of dialogue and just words in general.
Yeah.
And it feels like this is just an art book. Like, this is mainly an art book, which is fine, but like, I don't know. Like, the first issue was so good. Like, the first issue was very fucking good. Like, you even started saying, and it's like I said, we're past that. And apparently we're really fucking past it, because it's completely different than the first issue doing the silent.
Yeah.
I think it was just a big gamble. I don't think it was anything to do with him being lazy. I think it was just a big gamble of him trying to do something unique. And I personally, I didn't like it. I wasn't, I mean, I didn't hate the book, but I did not like the no words thing. I'll be straight up. I don't think it was a good idea. Like,
Yeah, no. And there are books that do go large, periods of time with no dialogue at all. The one that I'm thinking of that is popping in my head is Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. There are panels upon panels upon panels where nobody's talking. It's all action or setup or transition from one part to another. You can do that, but for an entire book, that's a stretch.
yeah, no. And I was gonna say, Fall in Love on the Path to Hell. It's like, if anything, it's one big panel, or it's like one page that's just an action sequence, and then the next page has words of like how they feel and what just happened.
Yeah.
Or what's next or whatever. So I definitely agree with you. Like, you can do it, but like, I definitely think the whole book is a stretch. I honestly think all the people who are glazing this issue are just like huge Scotty Young fans who will just say whatever the fuck they like is good. Cause like, I mean, dude, I gotta turn my mic thing down. I'm peeking. I've started buying less covers because, like, I felt like the Marvel, like, he had an anniversary at Marvel for 10 years or something like that. The covers were cool, but, like, they were just, like, I mean, I get why he was putting out one every, like, week or every other week. Yeah. So it's a lot of drawing, but they were just, they're big Marvel covers, and they were just simple white covers with the character on it. Like the Storm one for X-Men was like, had some background and stuff, but most of them were just like really simple with no background, and it was just like, I don't really want these. Like, I like actual Scotty Young covers where he makes them super fun and shit. So I don't want people to think I'm a hater, because I have literally a short box of Scotty Young that I'll never sell. So
Yeah.
he's one of my favorite artists, and like I do like some of his writing. I've read an issue of two of I Hate Fairyland, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So, and I've given this book 9s and up all the way till now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now: the art is still a 10. The art is easily
Yeah.
still a 10, but the story, there is no. I mean, like there is,
Yeah.
but
There
like,
is.
but I mean, like, I'm gonna say 5, man. I'm gonna say
I mean,
5. I only say 5 because I feel like the problem is so many people are gonna debate what is going on.
Yeah, and I think it's open to interpretation, so people are gonna see whatever they want to see in this book because there's no like set. This is what everything is supposed to be, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, for better or worse, I think that's definitely gonna be the biggest the biggest problem with it. But who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know if that like. I mean, I definitely my LCS doesn't sell enough to get. It's not because they don't sell enough. They are very busy. Not enough people are
Yeah.
buying that exact issue to get the ratios. So I
Yeah.
wonder how many people are reading it overall though. You know what I mean? I mean, it got like 2 or 3 reprints for number 1 though, so they must be reading if they're reprinting the first
Yeah.
issue.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
What do you give the story?
I mean, honestly, I give it a 5 because
Like I did? Hell yeah.
yeah,
Air 5.
honestly, the guy with the guitar, I could have used a little. Who the fuck are you?
Yes, because he
You
was
know?
cool. He was cool, but I didn't know
Yeah.
what the fuck he was about. I didn't know
Yeah.
what his purpose.
And like he had the daughter with him, like or it's an illusion of her daughter. I don't know.
Like, I didn't even try describing anything from this issue because
it's fucking like I don't know. I give it a 5. They're trying to do a story without telling a story, and it didn't work.
And why are you gonna do that the issue before the last?
Yeah.
Now it's like we get one more issue with words. Like I would have definitely appreciated because you're not a bad writer. You've been writing good stories.
Yeah.
Like these have been
you
good.
know, the stuff is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, up until now it's been like, like there's been 1 or 2 issues that could have used a little bit more dialogue, but like it was still a 9-ish, like it.
Yeah.
I just feel like this puts like a dent in it, but whatever. I have a feeling they're gonna go all out for the issue 5 though. I feel like the fight between Death and Ryder is gonna be so cool looking. I'm so excited for that. Like, cause they have to fight, right? Like that's the whole thing.
I mean,
do you think she dies?
Maybe. I think she'll get some sort of closure.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that would be like a physical death, but I'll put it in the realm of possibility. The thing that I'm not looking forward to is that like if it does become very dialogue heavy and they just sit there and talk about like what it means to be dead and like that shit and the other.
Yeah.
They don't actually fight. They just have a conversation, which I'm like, that can be cool in the context of like a Sandman story where fucking Death isn't this cool ass looking, creature thing.
With
where
guns.
Death is an actual person.
Yeah, he literally looks like a fucking like cowboy of death, like gunslinger. So, yeah, no. So I definitely hope.
I mean,
I'm
it's
hoping.
like Chekhov's gun. You have a gun in the scene, it must go off at some point.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping this tanks the prices on the ratios so I can get them for cheap. Everybody hate it now, so I can buy all your covers that I couldn't get for like half
Twitter
price.
mob, do your magic.
Yeah. Because I just want them, you know what I mean? I would have bought a ratio for every issue, no lie. I would have bought the Scotty Young edition of him drawing Death and Ryder and all that. but I just was too lazy to order it from anywhere else. Like I could have got
Yeah.
it from another shop, but I'm a Velocity diehard, man. I
Yeah, man. That's your
uh
LCS, man. Come on.
yeah, but yeah, dudes, I think you should still, if you got to issue 4, you might as well pull 5.
Yeah, you might as well finish it. Yeah.
Like I think something big is gonna go down. I'm hoping it's not a conversation. I think they're gonna be gunslinging like motherfuckers. So let's hope so. You know what I'm saying? Let's hope they get to
Yeah.
blasting that shit. So and see what Ryder's really made of, type shit. And see what Death is made of. We haven't really seen him do really anything other than show up like a badass. That was cool.
Yeah.
The way he shows up in the issue is cool. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Like once again, the art is fucking awesome. I definitely think though, this definitely solidifies for me that I'm more excited for Falling in Love on the Path to Hell than I am for the closure of this. Because Falling in Love on the Path to Hell is an ongoing, and at first I was like, I feel like this will be better than that. And now I think opposite. I think Falling in Love on the Path to Hell is the book I was hoping this was going to be, straight up.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to not compare the two because they're treading similar territory, albeit
Yeah, the
different
life,
ways.
death, cowboys,
Yeah.
fucking gunslinging. I mean, the only difference, they have a samurai and other people, but it's all like the same realm. It's all the same realm, like, of idea. So I definitely agree. Also, if you're not Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, do it.
Yes.
Like, actually, fuck whatever else I said before this. Like, you can delete the last 17 minutes of that comic book review and just take away from it that you should be reading Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. Yeah, like, it's by Image, by the way.
Book. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
a superior book.
And I love the art in it. It's not as detailed. It's a completely different art style, but it feels like such a comic book. Like, it...
Yes.
Like, oh my god, man. But that's a different pod for a different day. Make sure you follow us so you can hear about that. We do a live podcast on Twitch every Friday and Saturday at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we do a comic book of the day at the start of each podcast where we review a different book. So you may catch it on one of those. So make sure you follow us on Twitch. Or you may do it on Spotify or YouTube. You never know. You know?
Yeah. Speaking of new comic books with a fucking great style.
Yes, sir.
Main topic of today is the Boy Wonder Black Label.
Yes, sir.
By DC.
New Black Label book by DC. They're on issue number 4 out of 5. So we're going to cover that because I think everybody should be reading it. It's fucking awesome, dude. It's by Juni Ba. He does the art and the writing. And the colorist is Chris O'Halloran. I think that's very important because the colors are fucking awesome throughout it.
Yeah.
The art, like, is magnificent. And I want everybody to know, my boy Jerry even called me out on this. I was like, dude, I texted him at like 1 a.m. the other day. I was like, guilty pleasure, bro. I love Boy Wonder, and I'm a Robin hater. Like, I love evolutions of Robin. I don't like Robin.
Yes.
And fucking, he was like, dude, you didn't want to pick that up at first. Like, you didn't pick that up for like 2 weeks. You didn't start picking it up until you saw the Red Hood issue. And I was like, I know, man. I know.
Yeah.
I saw spoiler alert, there's a Red Hood panel. We'll get into that. But this book is amazing. Black Label is doing great things. And I think one of the best things is they take characters that people kind of write off and make the books fucking awesome for everybody. Like, Peacemaker, Flintstones, Boy Wonder, right now, John Constantine, Hellblazer, and Dead in America. Like, dude, they do it all. They've done tons of Batman, Harley Quinn, like, it's basically like their Max series is how I like to look at it. It's like they just do whatever they fucking want, and it's not necessarily canon to the DC universe, so like they can kind of do whatever, if I'm correct. So But yeah, man, we gotta talk about it because
Yeah.
it's fucking awesome. Like, it's super fucking awesome. I mean, from book 1 to book 4 right now, I mean, I read all 4 in one go. Like,
Yeah. So did I.
I I was
So
like,
did I.
yeah, it was so easy. It was so fucking
Yes.
easy, dude. It reads like an animated series. Like, straight up.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it feels like it feels like the art, the best way to describe it in my opinion is Mutant Mayhem, but like in comic book form almost.
Yes. I would almost put it like as if it would be as if Damian Wayne was drawing his own comic book.
Yeah, so basically what the comic book is about,
Yeah.
there's a girl held captive by a bank robber, and he has her tied up with a bag over her head in a building. And basically he's waiting out for the cops and shit, and she tells him a story. And this story is about Damian Wayne. And Damian Wayne is basically trying to, like, his mom has given him to Batman, and he's trying to impress his father as Robin and all the other Robins. And long story short, there's a demon going around kidnapping kids in Gotham, and he's out with his dad, and he cuts the head off of a dude.
Yes.
And basically, uh, his dad kind of like writes him off a little bit, and everybody starts holding this against him, and so he's basically trying to hunt down this demon so he can prove to everybody that he's like the Robin, and like he's Bruce.
Yeah, he's worthy.
Yeah, he's worthy. But the coolest fucking thing is issue to issue, you get a different part of the Bat family interacting with Damon. The girl, it starts out with there's a girl tied up, whatever, and like they get her and the burglar get more friendly as it goes on.
Yeah.
And like it's super cool because like the first issue, we'll talk about every single one, but just to give you guys a rundown, like the first issue is about Nightwing and Batgirl.
Yes.
The next one's about Red Hood, which is my personal fucking favorite. I think it's honestly the best thing coming out that has came out of Red Hood in the past year. Like,
yeah, I agree with you on that one.
And the next one is about Tim Drake.
Tim Drake, that's right.
Yeah, Dick Grayson's Nightwing. Tim Drake is Red Robin or whatever, like the bird-looking one. And then the fourth issue is basically him figuring out everything was like kind of a test. So we'll get to that though.
Yeah. I just
am throwing it out there because it's like I had no idea what it was about. I just thought it was a Robin book, and so I wasn't interested. Yeah. And then I see the art style, man. Holy shit! I was immediately drawn in. It kind of reminds me of like that Daniel Warren Johnson style, but not really. Like it's just like kind of edgy and punk looking. It looks like you said, it looks like in the most, like, this is not an insult. It looks like a teenage comic book lover is drawing this, and I love that. Yeah. It feels like you can tell Junie Ba or whatever. You can tell they love doing this comic. Like they're writing and drawing it. Like there's no doubt when I read this that like you know about these characters, you like them, you've been thinking about this. Like and the style just sets it so apart from other things.
Yeah. And I will be completely honest with you. I never gave Damian Wayne a second thought.
Me either. I didn't know he was this little. I didn't realize he was this little thug. Like, like sword wielding, like fucking Talia. Like, I knew he was Talia's son, but like that was the like, extent of like what I knew about him.
Yeah.
And then like this.
The only thing I knew prior to was like I think they did like an animated movie where he's talking to Bruce Wayne about like using protection and like going on a date, and I'm like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Like, whatever, I don't care. Batman has a kid, ooh, whatever. Add a kid, fine.
Yeah.
This was like they gave him a chance, and this is the thing that the Black Label does very well. They give these characters a chance to shine and breathe, and like give new life, like a new spin on everything. So like he's
Yeah.
not this pretentious little douchebag that everyone, well, not everyone, me
Well, he kind of is at
thinks,
first.
you know. Yeah. Um,
His overall
and
attitude
also,
is kind of douchey,
yeah,
bro.
and I kind of liked. No, I really liked how they incorporated the Bat family, and like e- each subsequent issue gave a member a chance to have an interaction or a chance to shine as well, to
No,
kind of
yeah.
like develop as a character. Because like, for instance, Red Robin, never heard of him. Like I knew Tim Drake Robin, but like didn't know that he advanced on to having an actual like persona of his own. That was kind of an interesting like little switch to me, and also like the fact that he's kind of playing the part of the suave, you know, Bruce Wayne esque person when Bruce Wayne is not around.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Well, Tim Drake is like natural detective, like saying, you know what I mean? Like he
yeah,
so I get it. I get it. But yeah, I want to pinpoint something you said. Uh I definitely agree that Black Label, like that's what I was saying in the beginning of this pod about
yeah,
it. I think the best, like you said, the best thing they do is they take these characters and they kind of reinvent them, but keep a lot of the original stuff.
yeah. They
And
keep a lot of the original lore too,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is
that's what I'm saying.
nice. You
Stuff.
know,
That's what I meant, like lore stuff, whatever. But I think that is what makes it so fun, because whether you know these characters or you don't, it's such a fun read for whoever. Like I don't like
yeah,
you don't have to be like you don't. I mean, like, it helps to be an avid comic reader, but like
yeah.
I feel like you don't have to enjoy these.
No. I also feel like if you are a passive comic book fan, this is a great like Batman esque thing that you could get into that is also unique. Like it stands on its own, you know. Like the Cape Crusader, you know, it kind of is like a stepping stone onto like what is the next incarnation of what these characters should be, you know.
100%. And I I think what this issue leads up to is very good. You find out that this demon he's hunting is actually his grandfather, Ra's al Ghul, and his father ends up, or his grandfather, not his father. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm stoned. Ra's al Ghul is like kidnapping kids because his Lazarus pit isn't working as well, and basically decides Damien is weak, and he tries to put his body in Damien's, and
yeah,
Damien falls off this cliff. He's in this like whole ghost thing with a bunch of people, and his mom is like protecting him in a sense, or like trying to decide.
yeah,
And basically, though, at the end of the issue 4, all of the Bat family is like at the end of this cave thing, like,
yeah.
hey, like we found you, we tracked you
We
here.
found it. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how this ends. I think it's only 5 issues if I'm
yeah.
correct. I definitely think everybody should read it. I think this is something, if I'm correct, I don't think these issues are gone up much in price or anything, so you could buy the singles
Yeah.
if you wanted to. But I think this will be something cool to get a hardcover of. I think whenever they come out with a hardcover, there'll be some cool additions in it and some like sketches maybe. And I think it'll just
Yeah.
look. I think whatever cover they come up with for the hardcover will be sick. So,
I gotta ask you, who was your favorite character overall?
oh, easily Red Hood.
Red Hood.
Red Hood was my favorite. That's why I got into it in the first place, and I loved every bit of that issue. Like I almost wish like the whole comic was about
Oh,
him, like straight
I'll
up.
also tack on like that would be your favorite issue too. I would say out of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it is. It definitely so far it is.
Okay.
It it was definitely
I
my second favorite issue though is number 1. I really like the
okay.
Nightwing and Batgirl whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think the setup was good.
Clayface showing up,
Yeah.
masquerading as a demon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really sick. So I definitely
Um,
think that. But what about you?
I will say that I love like my favorite issue was the Red Robin issue.
Oh, all right, all
Because they
right.
go into Cobblepot fucking Tower, which
Yeah,
is like, come
yeah,
on, Donald Trump, come on, let's be real.
yeah, yeah,
Like, and it's in the hall. They have the Hall of Justice, where it's like basically all the superheroes with Batman's head like knocked off because somebody vandalized it.
yeah,
Somebody, um, and you have fucking Lex Luthor hanging out with all these other fucking Gothamite billionaires that are just fucking doing all this shady shit. And I loved how each had a blurb of like what their net worth was, what they do with their money,
yeah.
and
That
how
was
they fucking steal.
yeah. It was dope.
Like,
That's what I also
I
like
also
about
love,
Black Label.
yeah,
I feel like they're usually fun, unless it's like John Constantine or something. Like they're usually pretty fun books.
yes, and they have a very sharp satire to them
Yeah,
in the,
yeah,
like in the real world, So like for instance, one of them is like she donates to charities so she can get the tax write off so she can have more money, and then have like a panel of fucking Talia al Ghul explaining about hoarding wealth and the fact that like if you're hoarding all this money and you're supposedly doing good things, with it, how are you making more money?
yeah,
Which
yeah,
is like, got it. Greed bad. Good.
yeah. Dude,
But I also loved Ra's al Ghul. I think he was my favorite character overall because I liked the fact that they explained that each time he uses the Lazarus pit, he's getting older and it's not coming back as like crystal clear. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like it's also one of those things like Rasputin and Hellboy, where it's like every time I come back, I bring a piece of the other side with me, but in reverse. It's like you're leaving a part of you behind every time you go into the Lazarus pit.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was dope. I did like his character design a lot,
Yeah.
but
And I love like the demon head, like
yeah,
every now and again would be
and,
like superimposed or like,
yeah, there's a panel in the Red Hood one where Damien and Red Hood are head to head, and his helmet has
yes,
horns, and Damien has the like demon coming out of him. I thought that was a dope ass panel. That was really sick. Um,
yes,
But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's dope. And like they're just straight up killing fools and shit. Like Red Hood's first panel or
yeah,
so is like just a bunch of dead bodies, and then Damien cuts the dude's head off, which he ends up regretting by the end. Like
yes. And I feel like
his
that whole
character
thing,
development has been very
yeah,
good. Like
yes, it's very consistent too. Like, and also, can I just say that I love the frame up of this? I love the fact that it is a story within a story kind of deal.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
She's telling a story while she's held
yeah,
hostage. And like they end up becoming friends while they're hostage, and he's like, I feel bad, like I got a kid at home and shit, like I shouldn't be doing
yeah,
this. And he's like, you got a story for that too, don't you though? And she's like, I do actually.
yep,
So I definitely think everybody should look out for the hardcover or go to your LCS and
yeah,
try and find the singles. There's some sick covers. There's not a whole lot, but there's some sick covers. But it's definitely one of my favorite things I've read this week.
yes,
Like, I read a good bit, and it was definitely the one I was like most hooked on. Other than Incredible Hulk 15, I really like what direction they're taking that
yep,
story, and Nick Klein, I'm really excited for him to still be on it. So we'll see. But yeah, dudes, I definitely think a lot of people should pick up Black Label books. And me and Juju, we were talking, and we were like, who should get a Black Label book next that hasn't?
I did a fair bit of research on mine.
Okay. I think I did as well, but I can't remember who I picked now.
Well, I'll do mine, and I'll even throw in a little pitch. Um, I would like for them to do a Black Label Martian Manhunter. and
Oh,
hasn't come out yet.
that would be fire. No, it hasn't. I looked at the list of shit that came out.
Yeah, and I would like for them to do, if they were going to do a Martian Manhunter story, I want to know about the collapse of Mars. I want to know why Mars is the way that it is today and why he's the last Martian. Like, there has to be some sort of, because it is black labeled again, that whole satire thing. They could do something with like climate change and actually like make a good story out of that. Um, Granted, it would sound a little similar to Krypton, which I'm pretty sure there has been a Black Label Superman, so I'm just going to scratch that. Again, a relatively obscure character from the Justice League that, unless you were a fan of the Justice League, you did not know about.
Yeah,
Give him a
yeah.
chance to shine. Give him a hard story, like a good hard story that is laced with that acid, sharp political wit, and I think it would be great.
Okay. I just put in the other week. I think it's funny we're doing Black Label topic because the other week I put in an order for the mini series coming out of Plastic Man.
Yes.
It's called
Yes,
Plastic
I
Man.
did hear about that.
Plastic Man No More is coming out soon. I'm very excited to read that. Very, very excited. My pick. So, I don't know, man. There's so many good people you could go through, but I th- I think a Bizarro Black Label
That could be
book
good. Yeah.
could be really good. I think you can make it either really fucking goofy or you can make it pretty fucking like dark, and I'm more here for the goofy one. Like I almost wanted to
Oh
be
yeah,
like,
because Pizarro is such a fucking goofy ass character to begin with. He's kind of like opposite Superman, really.
yeah, so I think that would be dope. I think, and like I don't read much Superman, so I would read it.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know, dude. Fucking, they've done a lot of shit. They did a lot more Black Label Batman than I thought they've done.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Batman kind of lends itself to that, where it's like you could do all these stories that are out of canon and in a completely different style, kind of like um, Boy Wonder, and it works,
No,
you know. And
100%. Sorry,
also,
guys, if you can hear my dog barking. I know you can't, but my mic is picking.
Batman has that menagerie of the rogues gallery that is just, you could cherry pick any one of those and do a black
Yeah,
label
yeah.
story
Like
on it,
imagine
and it'd be good.
imagine like a Professor Pig one. Just a dark ass,
Yeah.
like fucked up Professor Pig Black Label. Oh, that'd be so good. I'd read the fuck out of that. You know which one I did? You know which one I did really consider? Green Lantern. A Black Label Green Lantern book. Like I feel like that could be sick. Like I don't know.
Right. You know, I agree with you. That would be fucking awesome, especially using the fucking ring powers. That will be cool. Um, mine, my second pick, and I thought about it, and it was like, this is too ridiculous, but fuck it, is Brainiac. the Wonder Twins.
Oh my god, yo.
Think about it. They're the like, you know, in the bottom of the barrel is like Aquaman, the Wonder Twins. They're like right there. Kind of with like a serious take on that. Like, but like
Yeah.
still kind of keep the goofiness of it, you know?
Yo.
And, like, you know, again, obscure characters that like kind of would be great to have them get a, you know.
Yeah, like throw him a bone, you know.
Yeah.
You know
Like,
another
even
one that would
things.
be sick. I don't know. I don't think it happened, but a Doom Patrol Black Label.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be dope. I think there'd be a lot of fuck thrown around in there.
Oh yeah, and a lot of dick.
Yeah, especially after the HBO show. I think that's
Oh yeah.
definitely how it would go down. I need to finish that. I never finished that. But dudes, I think that's all we had planned, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
think that's all she wrote.
Yeah, so pretty much you should be reading Boy Wonder, Black Label, or any Black Label story for that matter, for the most part, by DC. They also have way more adult tones for the most part, is what I noticed as well. So make sure you check them out at your LCS. You can go to Velocity if you're in Richmond. It's Velocity Comics. And also, we do a live stream on Twitch every Friday and Saturday at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we do topics and comic book of the day, and we have a live chat talking and discussing everything, so you can follow us there. It's Braindead XTV. It's the same thing as it is on Spotify and YouTube, so make sure you follow us. Juju, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, sure. I'll share with y'all the same thought I shared with Rainey that I had earlier today. And I kind of feel like this incorporates all villains. They kind of fall into two categories. There's the villains when they meet their demise, you think, good, now their suffering can begin. And on the other side, they're the villains where they meet their demise and you go, now their suffering is over. Like, now they can rest. Like, my pity for you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I
especially.
think those two things will help you create a good villain.
Oh, I agree. I agree. That's a food for thought to leave you guys for. You know what I mean? Think about that. Who do you guys think deserves to be laid to rest? You know what I mean? Like who? Like you know what I mean? Like think about it. Think about it. You know what I mean? Who do you have sympathy for as a villain? Who do you not have sympathy for as a villain? Pretty much. That's how I look at it. But yeah, and on top of that, remember, never offended and always recommended, my dudes. Later.